Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. TFANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Show for sports fans by sports fan. It's your boy, Coach I. And you know I got the stat guy with me. What's going on, stat guy?
Hey, what's good, Coach? How we doing tonight?
Hey, man. Coming off a huge weekend in college football. Week 10, man. Listen, you know, they always, sometimes in the middle of the season, they say Separation Saturday. But this past Saturday was really Separation Saturday. I mean, you had some big-time matchups. You had some weather that was affecting people, namely Ohio State, you know what I'm saying, making them struggle with Northwestern. Michigan had I don't know what was going on with Michigan in the first half, but they let Rutgers, they let it be known who was the real team in the second half, ended up pulling off of them and blowing Rutgers out. I mean, you had the SEC showdowns with Georgia and Tennessee. Yeah, Alabama, LSU. But in the Big 12, man, you had TCU versus Texas Tech and Texas versus Kansas State. Now, I said, man, even if the SEC is considered the best conference, the Big 12 has been the most competitive conference with so many teams vying for those top two positions to play in the championship.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, you know, you left out one game that was very important in the shakeup on Saturday, and that was them Clemson Tigers going up to South Bend and taking a bad L. I mean, they just didn't even look competitive.
They didn't. I think that means more than the loss. Like, you know, sometimes top teams can lose and have a way to bounce back. But at the end of the day, if you start comparing one-loss teams at the end of the season, that's a bad loss, bro. Not just that it was at Notre Dame. They just didn't look competitive at all. That might have been the first time under Sweeney today they looked that bad, other than I think the West Virginia loss some years ago. But on to the Big 12, man. We talk about Texas versus TCU, the Horned Frogs versus the Longhorns in Austin, Texas. And Game Day has decided that they are going to Austin for a second time this year to see this Big 12 battle. So
look at the Big 12 doing right by the football nation.
Hey, man, shout out to Fox and the Big 12 for not making this a big noon kickoff, bro. Like Big 12 deserves some of that prime time love, especially these two teams, man. You got TCU's undefeated, top of the Big 12, trying to stay unscathed. Even with a loss here, they still control their own destiny. Texas and Kansas State are pulling up that second spot, with Texas holding the advantage over Kansas State by beating them last week. Just a quick recap of last week. Texas did beat Kansas State 34-27. What'd you think of that game, Jeff?
Yeah, that was a game that just continues to show the growth from this Texas team. And, I mean, definitely still a lot of room to talk as far as say that Texas is back, but definitely, I mean, they've gone through some rough patches this year, and they've come out on the other side, right? I mean, they're in games week in and week out. They're finishing off games. And that was just a big-time conference win on a November Saturday, and you got to love it.
That's right. And on the other side, man, TCU took on Texas Tech, who can score, as we've seen, because Texas Tech is one of the losses that Texas has. TCU opened up the scoring on their side with a punt. It was a punt or a kick return. Dude took it to the house. He started all the way on the left side of the field, and I guess the special team coach said, "Look, we got a wall set up for you, dog. Bring it all the way to our sideline, and we got you." And he took it to the house, and Texas Tech stayed in there, man. And for a while, I was thinking, I picked TCU in the Fanatic college football poll and the points, and I was like, Texas Tech about to mess my day up, but TCU did prevail and end up winning 34-24 over Texas Tech, staying in that number one spot. So on to the preview for this week, man. Let's talk about the TCU offense versus the Texas defense. Give me some numbers on that TCU offense, because that TCU offense has been. I don't know why they get disrespected in the national media, but TCU offense is just as good as those other offenses in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've said week in and week out. We've done a couple TCU videos in the past couple weeks, but it really looks like somebody playing NCAA on the PlayStation 5. I mean, it's just ridiculous. 43 points a game, 219 yards on the ground, another 289 through the air for 508 total. I mean, just ridiculous to put up those type of numbers week in and week out and really be that balanced and not just be one of these teams that runs for 350 a game off the triple option or throws the ball 65 times a game and throws for 400 yards a game. To be able to put up that kind of offense and be balanced with it is quite impressive.
Yeah, and I think Duggins is not getting the love he should in the national spotlight, especially the Heisman talk. I'm not saying he should win it, but he should be up there. I mean, he's the quarterback and he's the leader of the one of the undefeated teams in the nation. He's got over 2,400 yards passing, 24 TDs, only 2 touchdowns. So the dude should obviously be in the conversation, but sometimes it's a publicity thing as well, and I don't know how much the media loves TCU. But Texas also has to deal with their running back, Kendre Miller, and a host of other running backs. But Kendre got down Saturday, man. He had 21 carries for 158 yards and a touchdown. He was not going to let TCU be outdone. And then you got the wide receivers, Williams, Barber, and Davis. I don't know, man. I just don't see I don't see Texas like holding them under 30. So that means that Texas offense is going to have to come with it too. So what is that Texas defense looking like?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, now this is a Texas defense. They kept themselves in the Alabama game and gave themselves a chance to win. But this is a Texas defense that's only 123 yards a game on the ground. And so they've shown the ability to stop the run. You're looking at about 250 through the air that they're giving up. And they're only giving up 21 points a game. And so, obviously, I think if they can keep the game in the 20s, it bodes very well for them. But that run defense could become pivotal if they could finally do what nobody's been able to do, which is turn TCU into one-dimensional. Yeah. I mean, the thing is they're getting 7 or 8 yards. You just don't know how it's going to hit you. If they could force it to where they can kind of pin their ears back and bring some blitzes and get to the quarterback because they know TCU has to pass, it could be a real game changer.
Yeah, and that, like you say, that run defense, a lot of people don't understand. Even though a team is very prolific in the air, they still have to keep you honest with the run. So for Texas, Ford and Overshown are going to be big in trying to slow down that TCU run, while Thompson and Jameson try to handle that that air attack. It's not going to be an easy feat by no means, but just because TCU can score doesn't mean, like on the other side of the ball, Texas can't match them point for point. QN Ewers, he's been doing good since he came back, and it's a lot of what ifs, if he never gets hurt in the Alabama game and what their season might look like. But we're here now, so that Texas offense is scoring points too. I mean, they put up 34, the same amount of points TCU put up this past weekend, and I would argue that they did it against a better defense in Kansas State.
Yeah, no, definitely. The Texas offense isn't slouched by any means. You're looking at an offense that averages 36 points a game, 192 on the ground, and then they can still throw the ball for 250 a game. So, I mean, they're pretty balanced within their own right, but obviously they're led by the horse in the backfield that's Robinson. I mean, he, kind of a dark horse for the Heisman coming into the year, but while maybe not living up to that hype, he's still had an amazing year, and they definitely go as he goes if he can control the ground game for him.
Yeah, because, last week it's almost like they was like, look, just give it to Bijan, just give it to number 5, and we'll figure out the rest later. Dude had 30 carries for 209. That's what you call it. You don't even see that in college football anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's some Marcus Lattimore type stats where you just keep feeding the beast, where now, it's more running back by committee, and a lot of carries is like 18 for a running back these days. But Saturday, Bijan showed that he can carry that load if need be. Not to mention, they got wide receivers, Sanders and Worthy, who can contribute. I want to know who else is going to, jump in that thing too, because I think this is going to be a lot of scoring on Saturday. So with that said, man, let's jump into some predictions. Give me the over/under in the point spread in this game.
So over/under, I mean, you look kind of what both teams score and what their defenses give up. I feel like the over/under is kind of right where it needs to be. You're looking at 64.5 on the over/under, and the spread actually is favoring Texas by a touchdown right now. So Texas at home is going to be favored by a full touchdown over the visiting Horned Frogs.
Well, hey, you know what I always say? Vegas always knows something. They've been wrong, probably more than they like to this season, but they made up for it in that Tennessee-Georgia game with 90% of the betting public taking Tennessee. But I like to think the house always wins, so that's 7 points. Gosh, not even 3. I would think it would be 3, but what am I doing here? They playing in Austin, man. Alabama had trouble in Austin.
Real quick, Nat, you brought that up. Before you get carried away about the fact that they're playing in Austin, TCU is 4-1 in their last 5 trips since 2012 going to Austin.
Listen, man, I'm going to go this way because I want to see something different in the college football playoffs. I'm going with the Horned Frogs to not only cover but to outright win. I got the Horned Frogs 34-31 in Austin.
Well, you're very similar to my score, but I'm flipping the script. I don't think Texas can cover the 7. I do believe I still take them to cover if it was 3. But I'm going to go with the Longhorns 34-30 over TCU. I think the Texas run game is going to be too much and that they're going to be able to grind out some clock late and kind of prevail with the victory. Maybe TCU scores late to tighten it up, and then Texas can put a final drive together to ice the clock. But give me the Longhorns 34-30 and let the madness that is the college football playoff world ensue.
That's right. And y'all all know me and the Stat Guy, just college football fans in general, not just fans of our team. So we like to know how the fan base thinks about their rivals. So Texas is a big state, man. Before we get out of here, I just want to know from both fan bases, man, where does the opposition rank on your rival scale? I mean, in the state of Texas, you got Texas, you got TCU, you got Baylor, you got Texas Tech, you know what I'm saying? You got SMU. I don't know I know Texas and Oklahoma, that's the national rival, but where does this game fall on the rivalry? That same thing for TCU, man. So with that said, man, for the Stat Guy, Coach I, the Fan Addict, everybody leave your score predictions in the comments. Thanks for joining us. We out.
Welcome.
Got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the Fan Addict, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team home